the second part of the Pula language. So this is an introduction, right? So we're going through some of the introduction of the language. Um, so let's start. So the first one is Janowo and Janobe. Yeah. So we have war and be. So war means singular, um, be mean plural. So Janowo go. It's like you are a teacher. Um, Janowe, Janobe means you are teachers, right? So Janowo and Janobe, it means teacher and teachers, right? So one is plural and the other one is singular. So for example, we have the plural here, which is Janobe. Be means more than one person. Wa mean pretty much one person, right? So that's Janowo, Janobe. And we have the same thing. Um, Jangowo. So Jangowo, Jangobe, right? So we have students. It's a little bit confusing because if you see the two, there's Jan Nowo and Jangobe, Jangobe, so it's the same thing as teacher and student. It has the same sound in a way. So we have Jangowo and Jangobe, right? So it means student. So someone who's learning, right? Um, so it means someone who's learning. Jangowa, Jangobe, someone who is learning, right? So that's what it means, student. Um, and then we have another one. We have lekkojo and lekkobe, right? So lekkojo, lekkobe. This means schools or students. Lekkojo or lekkobe, right? So it means school. Um, I suppose school and student. That's why I put student slash school, right? So lekkol job. So lekkol. When you say lekkol, you're going to school, right? Or lekkol be. Um, Now the plural be in lekkol means schools, right? So lekkol jo, lekkol be. Um, so lekkol jo, lekkol be. So student or school. So you get the, I don't know. I feel like there's a differentiate. It kind of goes in and like hands to hand, right? And this one is pretty simple. So is def terjo and def dof torbe, right? So it has a French of doctor or doctors, right? So we have dof terjo, dof derbe. So it's like docked, that docked, doc is there, right? So dot deftobe, dofterjo, right? So it means doctor or doctors. So again, you see it's changed from war to job. That's singular, but a bet is still the same. So doc dofterbe, so it's doctors, right? And and here we have noun dowa or noun dobe, right? So he's a healing doctor, right? So someone who's sick is a noun noun dowa, right? So it's like healer doctor, right? And noun dobe, right? So he heals the sick. He's a healer doctor or healer's doctor, right? So this is what a healer is. He's a noun dobe or noun dower, right? So again, we have the war and the be, singular or plural, and the you'd think the chief it would be be and dot. So it also has lando, lampe, right? So lando means a chief, lampe means chiefs, right? So lampe, lampe, chief, lando, lando. Um, chief. Yeah. So there's a difference between Lando and Lambe. Lambe mean chiefs. Lando mean chief. Yeah. So he's there's one, and then this one Lambe is two, more than one. And then we have Defower. Defower, Defobe, right? So if you're a Defower, you're a cook or cooker. Or if you're a Defobe, you're a cooks or you're cooking. Not cooking, cooks. So these are people who cooks. So if someone say I'm a Defower, means my profession I'm a cook. Or if they say menen come in Defobe, come in Defobe, uh, we are cook, we are cooks. Um, and then we have farmer. So farmer is remower or remobe, right? So again, my pronunciation is probably not as good as a Nate. Well, not as good as someone who's in Fuller, right? Who's in Jallo, right? So renower, renobe, right? So this is a farmer, right? Renower, renobe, right? So it's a farmer, someone. So there's a farmer who is a renower, or farmers who are renobe, kambekobe renobe, right? Um, and then here we have a blacksmith, right? So we have Bailo, which is a one blacksmith, or we have Wulebe. Wulebe can mean they're blacksmiths. Could be Wulebe, Wulu, or Wulibe, or Wulibe, or some would say Wulebe, right? So we have Bailo, or Wulibe, or Wulebe, right? So again, it's the pronunciation because I'm reading from English, so it might sound a little bit different, right? So Wulebe is a blacksmith, blacksmiths. So it's more than, so these are Kambe Kobe Wulebe. So Kambe means they are blacksmiths, right? And then Bailo means just for one blacksmith. And then we have an Imam, right? So an Imam is Alma Mijo. So he's an Alma Mijo, right? Alma Mijo, or that's one Imam, or Alma Mibe, right? So again, the jaw and the wa means singular. The bet means many, right? So it's a plural. So alma mibe, or alma mibe, right? So it's a ma double a. So it's alma mibe, right? So these are imams, or alma mijo. So alma mijo means an imam, right? So it's one person. And we have someone who sells. So we have Yayowa, or Yayobe, right? So we have Yayowa, someone who sells stuff, or we have Yayobe, kambe kobe Yayoba, Ming komi Yayowa, Ming. Again, we'll talk about me, you, and stuff like that. I am a Yayowa, kambe, or they are Yayobe, right? So they are Yayobe. Min komi Yayowa. Kambe kobe Yayobe, right? So Yayobe means they're selling. They are sellers, right? So we have Yayowo and Yayobe, right? So by now you should kind of get the difference between be and yo, so, or war, right? So yo, war, singular, um, be, and means plural, right? I do apologize about the background noise. Um, so a merchant, right? So is a julajo, njulajo, a julajo, right? Or julabe. Julabe is a merchant, right? So a merchant does many things, right? So kanko como julajo, or kanko kambe kobe julabe, right? So julajo, merchant, and julabe, means kobe merchants, right? So in Guinea, there's plenty of merchants. Literally, everybody's a merchant. Um, and I'm not saying this in a negative, but everybody sells something, right? Either could be Yaya or could be merchants. They buy and sell stuff, right? Um, so that's what a merchant is. Like he has a lot of things. He sells a lot of things in a sense. So he's a julajo or julabe, right? Um, Now this is a noun nuowo or nuobe, right? So I always pronounce this. I always find it difficult pronouncing this one. So these are tailors or tailor, right? So nuawa, someone who tells, who's a tailor, or nuabe, right? So a nuabe. Now again, in Guinea, there are a lot of people who who does this profession, right? It's such a beautiful profession because like most of the weddings happen on Sunday in Guinea Conakry, and these guys are busy, right? And then you see some of them have nice shops, some of them have a small shop, and they're always and they're very skilled professions, right? So I bought a suit or I got a suit made for me, and it was amazing because it fit really well, and it was you know it was self-made. It was really tailored to my body. So, and my uncle, I would say he's a Nuwabe. He's a Nuwawa, right? And I got some of my family members who are Nuwabe, right? So, uh, um, Kawo Ang, como Nuwabe or como Nuwawa, right? Maybe I'm saying that wrong, but they pretty much are tailors. So Nuwa or Nuwabe, right? Nuwa or Nuwabe. Maybe too much information. Okay, let's move on. So now this one, I also struggle to pronounce it properly. So it's Karang Kejo, right? So or Karang Garang Garang Kebe, right? So it's Garang Kejo or Garang Kebe, right? So these are level workers or level worker, right? So um, Karangejo or singular, plural is karangebe, right? So karangebe, ke, ki as in Keeb, be, right? So is garang kebe, right? Or garang kijo, right? So or you could say karang um, kibe, right? Again, my pronunciation, I could be completely wrong. Do correct me, and maybe leave a voice or do like a record, or even send me the recording how I should be spelling this. That would be amazing, right? Again, because I'm reading it from English. Okay, and then we have a great singer, like a praise singer, right? So they sing in like in what's the word? Like a Homer would sing, like you're singing a poetry. It's all like proverbs type of singing. It's very like you find people who tells a story in a singing form, right? So these are namankalajo. So it's namakalajo or namakalabe, right? So it's namakalajo or namakalabe, right? Nama kalabe. So if you break it down, it's nama kalabe or kalajo, right? So it's the again the jaw and the be. So it's praise singer or griot, right? And then now this is a worker. So we have gollowo or gollobe, right? So min komi gollowo. So I am a worker. Kambe kobe gollobe. So they are workers. So again, it's a worker and workers, right? So again, the war and the bear. So I suppose you could put on war to make it singular in anything, and bear to make a plural in everything. I'm only joking. I'm sure it's not like that, but there are similarity in most of the language, right? Um, and then we have again. So let's go back to here. So we have Galore, Golebe, right? Golowo, and we have Golebe, right? So it's a Golowo and a Golobe, right? Um, and then we have a crazy person, right? So a crazy person called Fe Fetudo, right? So you hear a lot of people troll you by saying Ankwa Fetudo, Anga Feti, Kambebe Feti, or Fetube, right? So we have Fetudo or Fetube. Just give me 1 second, I'm being distracted. So we have Fetuwo and then we have Fetube, which is crazy person or crazy people. Again, Fetudo, one person, Fetube, more than one person, right? So you look at a group of people that are crazy, you go, oh, kambe ko be Fetube, or be Feti, um, or you'd say kanko mo Feti, like, or you'd say, odo como Fetudo. It's 18 hours. Right? Um, so yeah, that is Fetudo and Fetube. Um, and then we have hunters, right? So we have a one hour, right? So a one hour, and we have one orbe, right? So we have one hunter and we have many hunters, right? So one hour, one orbe, right? One hour, and then we have one orbe, right? And then we have a Maroba teacher, right? So this is a karma kojo, right? Or karma kobe, right? So a karma kojo, it's mostly someone who's learned, and sometimes it's someone who's learned in the religion, right? So you get people. So now there is like there's a good and a bad positive out of this word karma kojo or karma kobe, right? So a karma kojo is it's like um, you hear a lot of story about karma kojo doing this, doing that, doing bad, or people they have karma kojo or they have a karmako, right? Someone who do their bidding for them. So like I don't know, it could be something like let's say you want to get rich or you want protection, you go for karmako, and then he'll read something. Um, that's if you believe in all these things. You don't necessarily have to. Um, but it's real, right? Because there are some people who are very powerful karmako, right? So I don't know, they could do something bad to you, or they could do something good to you, or you could go to them and give them money, and they could pray for you, right? Because these guys are well learned men, right? They have a very possession of especially the Quran. They know the Quran very well. They're very well learned men. Um, yeah, so they're very well learned people, right? Now, I mean, there could be a karmical woman, there could be a karmical guy. So, um, yeah. So there's the karma kojo, and then there's the karma kobe, right? Kobe means again many, right? So you hear word karmako or karm. I mean, sometimes again, there's a good, there's a positive connotation to it, and also there's a bad connotation to it, right? But in both way, como karma kojo or como karma kobe, right? So yeah, it's also another form of respect because the person is well learned, right? Um, so I pronounce this hard, even though I'm a Fuller man, and you know we love our goats, we love our cows, and we're probably herdsmen. Um, so this is gainako, gainako or gainakabe, right? So gainabe, gainabe or gay. So we have gainako or gainabe means herdsman or herdsman, right? Again, I'm probably pronouncing this wrong. If you know how to pronounce it properly, please write it down or please send me a voicemail. I would really appreciate that. Yeah, thank you very much. So we have a volunteer or volunteerbe, right? So again, this is very simple. You could say in English or French, 99.9% they know what you're talking about. So called volunteer or volunteerbe. See, I even get the pronunciation. I've even read the thing wrong, but you still understand what I was saying. So it's volunteer or volunteerbe, like so instead of the V, it's the W. Volunteer or volunteerbe, right? Um, and then we have someone who plant tree, right? Um, tutorer lette, right? And then we have a tutorbe lette, right? Lette mean trees, like so tu tutorer lette, yeah, and then there's tutorbe lette. So we have tutorer lette or tutorbe lette. So someone who plants tree or a tree planter, right? Or a tree planters. So we have a volunteer seller, right? So, or we have a volunteer seller. So seller means something to do with health. Are you like are you well? So seller means are you like well health and stuff like that. So it's a wealth, a health volunteer or volunteer, right? Or volunteers. So it's a volunteer seller, right? So you're a health volunteer, right? And then we have a yumowa. So we have a yumowa, yumobe, right? Yumo means sing. So we have yumowa, and then we have yumobe, right? So we have a yumowa, yumobe. So singer, singers, right? So if I say I'm kanko como yumowa, you are a singer. Or kambe means they are singers. Um, yimo be, right? So again with the be. Um, so we have uh, fijowo or fijobe, right? So we have fijowo and we have fijobe. So it could be an actor or it could be playing. So fijigal means playing, right? So you could be playing a part. You're an actor. You're a player, right? Or you could be a football player. Um, you would say Fijowa. Yeah. So he does anything to do with playing or acting. Um, he's a Fijowa. Or if there's more than one person, could be Fijobe. Um, Kanko Himofijowa, right? So this person he's a player. Okay, and then we have Dogowa, right? So Dogowa or Dogobe, right? So these are runners, athlete. Uh, so Dogogol means running, right? So if I'm running, I'm Dogogol, or if I'm a runner, I'm a Dogowa, right? If we're runners, we're Dogobe. Runners, Dogobe, right? So we are runners. So we have a carpenter, which is mini siejo. So mini siejo. So men or mini cg, many sijewo, right? So this is a carpenter or carpenter. So you just add the be. Again, this is another one I find difficult spelling because it's not something I often say. So I always stumble on this when I see someone working with wood or who is a carpenter. Um, I find it difficult to pronounce it. So menin sie jobe or ko menin sie jobe, right? So there's the jaw and the be here again. So the singular and plural. Um, and then we have polisijo and we have polisibe, right? So we have polisijo means a policeman, a polisibe means a policeman, right? So policeman and policeman, polisijo or polisibe, right? Um, and then there you go. So you have pull up and the phobe. So I'm a pull up, my people are phobe, right? So a puller is one person. Kanka como himo puller, como puller, como puller, como menen como phobe, right? Or we are phobe, right? So puller, phobe. Uh, puller is a one person. Phobe is it's people, right? It's more than one person, right? So coming puller, puller. So we're fullback or pros as you'd call them, right? So this is a puller and fullback, right? And so if we move on to the next one, we have Maninkajo or Maninkabe, right? So in Guinea, there's few different ethnic, well, I wouldn't call them different tribe, different set of group of people, right? So we have the Fulbe, the Maninka, the Soso, and so on, right? So we have the and the Susu. Um, Trying to remember off the top of my head. So we have the money. I mean, the most majority, really the bigger. Again, I'm not discouraging anyone or not saying you're not big or small, but the data shows that you have the Fulbe, the Maninka, the Susu, and yeah, so those are mostly the majority, the big um, people in the in Guinea Conakry. So we have the Maninka and the so these are Maninkajo. So he's one Maninka or Maninkabe, Maninkas, right? So there's more than one Maninka, right? So we have Maninkajo and we have a Maninkabe, yeah. So these are Maninkas, right? We have the Soso. So we have Soso Jo or Sosobe, right? Again, the same thing. These are Soso. So these are another group of people in the country. So we have Soso Jo, we have Sosobe, which are the Susu, right? Um, so yeah, so I'm gonna stop here. Um, you know, go back and maybe listen out and watch other native Fuller YouTube videos and see maybe how they pronounce it and get a feel or get an idea of it. Um, so I'm gonna leave it there. But before I go, I want to touch on a little app that I created. Right. So this is an app I created. If you want to know it, I'm using the Flutter language, which is Google. Pretty much allows you to create mobile apps for both Android and iOS. So everything I'm going through, it's in this app, right? So we have, I'll touch on the family next. Pretty much everything it's lined up here. The only thing you haven't got is pictures. I will improve the app later on by adding few machine learning and stuff to it, where you could take your camera out and detect an object or detect a chair, and it would say in a fuller language. That's something I'm currently working on now. So yeah, do go and check the app and download it if you have an Android phone. Yeah, and leave a comment. That would help greatly. I will do one in iOS soon when I do find the time. Yeah, so again, guys, please subscribe. Like, comment. Tell me what you think. If it's something you want me to do more, I'll continue doing it. So Thank you very much for most of your comments, and I really appreciate it. Thank you very much. Well, take care, guys, and I see you next week. Okay, then. Bye bye.